Toronto Maple Leafs have made multiple moves, including Matt Benning, but a brand new move surrounding Yanni Hakanpää. So to break down that move and discuss what it means going forward as his return is now imminent. We're also going to discuss some other updates surrounding Auston Matthews and his return. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the 70% who aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribing is free, and we're on the road to 14,000 subscribers. So Darius, a lot to go over today, and moves have been made, and the Leafs have been making a lot of moves as of late, and the most recent one is in the form of both Matt Benning and, most importantly, Yanni Hakanpää. This happened literally like 5 minutes ago, so I'm going to break it all down. Let's just dive right into it. There's a lot to go over here, and let's start with Matt Benning. We'll dive into Yanni Hakanpää in a minute. So yesterday, Matt Benning, he cleared waivers, which is a little bit interesting, and he's now been assigned to the Marlies. It'll be good for him to get a legit run of games. He costs $100K against Toronto's Cap Wallies in the minors. So Darius, they waived Matt Benning. He ultimately cleared waivers, and now he has been assigned to the Marlies, which is, I'm a little bit surprised he cleared waivers considering how many NHL games he has under his belt, but good asset management by Brad Living here.
Yeah, I mean, he traded away Timothy Liljegren there and obviously saved a lot on the cap. And then now sending him down to putting him through waivers, you're saving even more cap. And we knew somebody had to be sent down or put through waivers, even if they were claimed, because the Leafs need to free up a couple more roster spots. So I wasn't surprised by this at all. I think a lot of people saw probably this coming because of, the report the other day of Philippe Meyer being held in high regard by the team. They don't want to put him on waivers. So this is a guy who never played for the organization and hasn't, we haven't heard anything about him since he got traded to the Leafs. So I'm not entirely surprised by this.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Benning factors into the blue line at some point if injuries happen, because again, you now don't have Timothy Liljegren, but you have Philip Myers, who, like you mentioned, they have very highly regarded. But let's dive into talking about defensemen. Again, it's a big defenseman day. This 16 seconds ago, so a few minutes ago as of the time of recording, Darius, Yanni Hakanpää has been recalled from his LTIR conditioning stint and has been activated from the LTIR. So Connor Dewar obviously made his Leafs debut in the forgettable game yesterday against the Ottawa Senators. And it seems like there is a possibility that Yanni Hakanpää plays tonight, or at the very least plays in the near future. They only have one game next week. They play this Saturday. And then, of course, they only have the one game next week, next Wednesday, a week from today. But this is interesting now because after all this time waiting, specifically regarding Connor Dewar and Yanni Hakanpää, we might finally get to see how Yanni Hakanpää fits with this group. And this is good news. He's returned, no setbacks on his conditioning stint. And this one has pretty big implications for the Leafs. I think there might be a world where he plays a lot of games over the next handful of weeks.
I think that's the goal for them. I don't think that they, all of a sudden hate Connor Timmins or anything like that, but I think it's going to be, a revolving door with both those guys on the third pairing. So I think it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. I think Hakanpää might get into the lineup tonight. The fact that he's been cleared, maybe he can get into the lineup. And also, obviously, Connor Dewar, like you mentioned, and Alex Steeves. I wonder if he gets into the lineup too today, because second half of a back-to-back, maybe you want a couple fresh bodies in there. Maybe you want to see what Hakanpää has, because you know what? Coming in after the injury he had, he hasn't played since, I believe, March 16th. He didn't play in the playoffs last year. It's a pretty brutal thing that he's been dealing with. So I wonder how, fast he gets acclimated to the game and their system and everything like that. I know he's been practicing with them, but playing in a game is much different. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And I wonder if they want to get him into a game sooner rather than later, because if he doesn't play today, maybe he doesn't play Saturday, or maybe he does, but you only have one game next week. So then he's going to be sitting again for a while. So I wonder if you want him to get some reps in as soon as possible, and he has been cleared. So I am eager myself personally to see this guy play, because he brings a very different brand of hockey, very heavy style, and obviously he's 6'8" on skates. So I am really excited to see him play. So I'm eager to see him get into the lineup. So I hope it's tonight, but we'll see what they have in planned. Obviously no morning skate. So we'll see what they have closer to game time.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where Craig Berube puts him, what player he puts him alongside. Are they going to go huge with him alongside Benoit? Do they go a bit more agile? It's going to be interesting. Also, I think the decision of who you bench at this point is also scratch, I guess, is also very interesting, because, and I want to ask you who you think it would be. Connor Timmins has been playing very well. He was one of, he played solid. Again, no defenseman played good yesterday against the Senators. He was one of the ones who played fine alongside Chris Tanev. Like, Connor Timmins has been on a very solid role here, and when you're looking at some of the defense, and you're not going to scratch, the main four, obviously Riley, Tanev, OEL, all those guys, is Benoit the one who maybe gets, because McCabe is not going to get scratched either, so maybe it's only Benoit that could maybe get scratched in a scenario like this, of course, alongside Connor Timmins. So I'd ask you, who do you think is the guy that gets scratched in a scenario where Yanni Hakanpää plays, whether it's tonight, whether it's down the line on Saturday? I think it's probably most likely Connor Timmins, but maybe they give Benoit a little break just to see what they have from Yanni Hakanpää because he has been in almost every game this year.
Yeah, to me, the top four are not coming out. They're not coming out of the lineup to be scratched for Hakanpää. It's one of Benoit or Connor Timmins. And I think at this point in time, unless Berube, like me personally, I would take out Timmins. So you have that right shot on the right side and you leave Benoit there. And I don't think Benoit has been egregious or anything this year. Can he play better? I think so. But obviously the Leafs defense looks better this year. So maybe he's looking a bit out of place compared to last year. But I would take Connor Timmins out if you want that right shot on the right side. But I could see Craig Berube and company doing something where they take Benoit out too, maybe give him rest as well. Because Connor Timmins has been pretty good, especially offensively. Even last night, like in a terrible loss, he was noticeable out there, right? He was doing a couple of good things. So maybe it's Connor Timmins. I don't know what Berube is thinking, but for me, because he's a right shot Hakanpää this is, I would take Connor Timmins out.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely and the easiest scenario. Let us know down below what your thoughts are on that, as well as the Matt Benning situation, as it kind of got resolved now, and he's with the Marlies, and I didn't think he was going to clear, but he ultimately did, and good asset management for Vegetable Living. But we do have an update from Chris Johnson here on, Chris Johnson spoke out on Auston Matthews, and again, it doesn't look like he's going to play tonight. The Leafs' packed schedule, including back-to-back games like tonight, has made it difficult for Matthews to return. However, the recent 3-game win streak had eased the pressure on him rushing back. The best hope for his return is Saturday at home against the Oilers, and it hopefully won't extend beyond that. So some good news and some bad news. He's not going to play tonight in all likelihood against, of course, they're not going to play tonight, but on Saturday against the Oilers, there is a chance. And if he comes back Saturday, then maybe you have Yanni Hakanpää's debut Saturday. Things are going to start to line up a little bit here. You'll have Anthony Stolarz. That could be a big game against Connor McDavid. And of course, Hockey Night in Canada. It would make some sense for me. What are your thoughts on that? I think he's going to return Saturday would be my guess as well. But again, he had a little bit of a setback because we thought he was going to be back today at the latest. Ultimately, a little bit of a setback, but everyone's starting to come back now. So things are starting to shape up, which we haven't seen all season.
Yeah, he was supposed to be back Tuesday. That was kind of the benchmark that they laid out earlier last week or whenever he was first out. But you know what, looking at it, if he's not 100%, don't play him. And maybe they're just giving him a little bit more runway so he can get to 100%. And that's fine by me. And if he is on Saturday, play him. There's potential for fireworks in that game. Like you said, Hakanpää, that's fun to watch if he doesn't play tonight. If it's his first game, that's a fun new thing. If Matthews is in the lineup, you're playing Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and the Oilers. You want to beat them. It's Hockey Night in Canada. It's in Toronto. So a couple factors going into that. Maybe don't bring him back tonight. Maybe bring him back on Saturday and just, have the entire team feeling good because your captain's back and he should be feeling good. But if he's still not 100% by Saturday, I would not play him. You have one game next week, so make sure he's 100%. But I think it would be fun if he was in the lineup. And if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And that's all fine because they did say he should have been ready for Tuesday. So I'm assuming Saturday is the day he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of separation between games. So you have a chance now, given the schedule, to get yourself healthy. And they won't have that luxury in December when they play a ton of games. So let us know down below what your thoughts are on that. A couple things before I wrap up. I just want to give a quick shout out to, like we do often, but Anthony Stolarz. So the Leafs are the 18th best offensive team in the NHL so far this season. Stolarz is the main reason their record is what it is. And Darius, I sent you this tweet and we were discussing it off camera. I mean, the top 10 percentage in save leaders among NHL goalies to date, and this is among qualified players. I know some goalies like Jonathan Quick in very small sample size have a bit of a higher save percentage, but in this case, Connor Hellebuyck, which makes sense, the Jets are 15-1. Anthony Stolarz slides in at number 2 with a .930 save percentage. That's even after yesterday night's game where he let in a few goals. Like I mentioned on the stream, he still had a very solid game, and he was the Leafs' best player. We both agreed on that yesterday, just given the fact that the defense was terrible, and the offense was terrible too. Do you have any thoughts on this stat? I mean, ultimately, the offense hasn't been what it should be, hasn't been what it's advertised to be, but Anthony Stolarz has allowed them to, maintain and still be very much in it in the Atlantic race alongside, of course, Tampa Bay and behind Florida.
There's two goalies specifically on this list that play on good teams, and that's Toronto and the New York Rangers and Igor Shesterkin and Anthony Stolarz. And these goaltenders are literally the only reason these teams are considered good teams and higher in the standings right now. They're playing fantastic hockey. And I'm not saying that the teams are awful in front of them, right? But at times they've won them games or just given them the opportunity to win. And Anthony Stolarz, it's a breath of fresh air for Leaf fans because we haven't had that opportunity from a goaltender in so long, many, many years. So he's been playing fantastic. And I don't want to say he's the sole reason that the Leafs are as good or have a pretty good record right now or second in the Atlantic, but he is a big reason. Like he's giving them an opportunity to win every single night, every time he plays. So he's been great.
Yeah, and it's good company. I mean, you're alongside a lot of Vezina finalists, Vezina winners like Connor Hellebuyck. So It's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for Anthony Stolarz, especially if his body can kind of sustain this throughout a regular season and the 82 games that he's never, played as a 1A goalie. So let us know down below what your thoughts are on that. A lot of things going on, and we will have a stream for you guys after the game tonight against the Capitals. We'll see you soon.